I'm Tyron McGurgan, and this is the Executive Insight Series. And today on the series, we get to speak to Santiago Vela, who's the head of digital marketing at PACCAR Australia. Now, Santiago talks to us around how the business is using advanced analytics, intelligence, and telematics to create the truck of the future. So let's get into it and meet Santiago. You're doing some fantastic stuff at the moment at PACCAR Australia around telematics. Just tell me a little bit more around, how you're actually adapting this technology and creating the truck of the future.
Really good question, Tyron. We believe at PACCAR Australia that there are two ways to be competitive in the marketplace. One is through customer service, and the other one is through innovation. So what we try to do is to give enough data to R&D, research and development, for them to develop the new truck. Telematics is giving us that data. What is telematics? Telematics is data that is telling us the performance of the truck, the parts of the truck, how they're performing. But not just that. Telematics is also giving us, the driving style of the driver, the driver behavior, if I can use that word. So we collect all this data, and we get some insights that allow us to shape the development of the new truck. That is at research and development level, but also in terms of customer service, we can give this to our dealers for them to be proactive and actually predictive in terms of when that truck is going to be serviced. In our industry, uptime, which is having the truck working on the street, is very, very important. We don't want to have a truck that is being serviced for 2 or 3 days. That will affect dramatically that business. So for us to maximize uptime and to minimize downtime, we need to have data that allow us to manage better service, maintenance, and product development. We're working very hard on that. It's not yet part of our full range of products, but we are developing some pilots in terms of telematics.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing stuff. And when you dig a little deeper and actually see what it can do, it's really phenomenal, actually, the outcomes it can provide to, not only the business, but also from a marketing standpoint as well.
Yeah, the truck of the future will be like an office. The driver will not be driving. The driver will be developing all the logistic process behind what he's doing or she's doing. And because of telematics, we will be able to create this reality. The connection of the truck with the fleet manager is critical. The connection of the truck with the manufacturing company that is developing the truck is critical. The connection of the truck with the companies that are developing the parts of that truck is critical. At the end of the day, it's all about knowledge. We need to know more about how people is using our trucks, but also how people is thinking about when to maintain the truck, when to service the truck, even when to buy the next truck.
Tell me a little bit more about autonomous trucks. Is that an area PACCAR Australia at the moment is focusing on?
For us to have autonomous vehicles, we need to go across many, many barriers. Majority of them are legislative barriers. So we are not yet in an environment that will allow us to have an autonomous truck out there in the road. Even if the technology exists today, we don't have the legislative framework for us to develop this reality. So, but in the future, certainly. A big part of driving a truck is a repetitive task, which is basically finding out what are the hazards in the road and try to solve quickly how to get around them. And at some point, I reckon machines will be better than that. However, the machine will never be better in terms of defining what is best for the company, in terms of defining what is the next step in order to serve my customers. So that's what the driver will be doing. The driver will be someone who will be operating a logistic department within the truck cab.
Thanks very much for joining us today, and I really appreciate your time here, and I look forward to continuing the discussions with you over the next 12 months and seeing the journey this takes you and the business on.
Thank you, Tyron. I appreciate it.